Hey, good evening, Miguel. How are you?
Hey, Manuel, everything's fine, man. I hope you are okay too.
Yeah, I'm actually better. Yeah, I was actually absent for 2 weeks. I was on medical leave for
Oh man,
2 weeks. I
I
had
hope things are better now.
yeah. It's everything's fine now. And how was your weekend? Good
Excellent,
weekend?
excellent, excellent, man. Well, actually, everything is fine. Well, you know that I practice sports. I love to play fronton, so weekends are
Oh,
perfect to do that.
good
Mhm.
to know. All right,
That's
so
right.
I observed your class. I think it was lovely. One of the special things that I like about your class is how you ask the students, how their weekend was, and to use their English in order for them to, start speaking English without just jumping into the class. And I mean, your class in general was great. You also use, the little pen to make sure the students understood exactly what they had to do. All right, so you correct them when they spoke Spanish in the breakout rooms. That part I liked it a lot. All right,
Okay.
and well, I have a few more comments to do so, but I don't want to just like monopolize the whole conversation. So, how
Oh,
about you?
sure, sure. Well, actually, well, same here, man. Your class was really, really good. One thing that I liked also was that you welcome students right to the session. He also showed some kind of concern about their activities, their weekend activities, right? They did something special. And well, that actually helps to create a nice environment, right? Something that I am convinced that is a key part of a successful session, right? To have a nice environment, to have good rapport, right? So that way students feel comfortable to participate voluntarily. So they don't feel under pressure, or they don't feel like I don't know, they're forced to be in a session, right? They feel like they want to be in the session, right? You know, because they feel welcome. One of the things that you could observe in your class that was very good is that you asked, well, your students to use the chat box, right? I use it too, but not that often, right? I prefer them to use their mics, but that's a good alternative too, right? If they feel some kind of shy that session, that would be a good icebreaker, right? To start talking on the chat box. And another thing that I really enjoyed was that at the beginning of the session, you, as a warm up, right, you use the picture that you had there, right, the slide, and you ask them about to describe a little bit, right, what they observed in the picture. So that was a good activity, right, as a warm up, right, to um, ask students to voluntarily participate and share their ideas, right? And you ask students to read instructions, right, or some activities, which was good, right? That makes them practice pronunciation, right? Also, you another good point is that you emphasize, right, when I guess one student used Spanish to mention something, I guess, don't remember exactly, but you emphasize, right, and you ask them to use English, right, whenever they are in the session. So, which is good because you know sometimes they forget and maybe they use Spanish because they don't know vocabulary or structure, right? They're supposed to ask us, right? To ask us how to use one word or another. That's a good thing that you emphasize that. And another thing, right, that you read some alternatives, you gave them some time to think about their opinions. Then you asked for volunteers, which is good. They didn't feel under pressure, so they volunteered, right? And they shared their opinions, right, to the class. And another good point is that you monitored, right, all the breakout rooms, which was good, right? You know, offering them some help whenever possible, obviously, without interrupting their conversation or their um, the process of this activity, right? And what else? Well, that's something I really liked, right? So that's something I do, right? But I would emphasize, I would do that maybe next time. I'm going to do the same thing, right? Try to a little bit intervene in some parts, right? Whenever they make a mistake or they need some more vocabulary to express their opinions when they are working together. That's a good thing that you did and that I really enjoyed. Mhm.
Something that I have to say about your class though is like, for example, in this class, my class, I was fortunate to cover lower all the slides and then be able to use them properly within the time that we have. But not in all classes I'm able to do that. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes time is already up and I miss one slide. You know what I mean? Like at least I'm like maybe two or one. But I noticed that you managed the time really well, and then you were able to finish right on time, and you were able to use all the slides properly. All right, without rushing or like omitting certain parts, and that was absolutely great. And for example, I think that's one thing I'm gonna watch your class again and try to copy that. You know what I mean? The fact that we should be able to like use the appropriate time to show all the slides. Like I said, in this class, I was able to do that perfectly. But like sometimes when you have a student, like sometimes students ask you questions, or like you gotta like be a little more specific about a topic, and it takes you a little bit more time in one slide. So it's either you're gonna miss one slide at the end, or you're gonna be rushing up in one of the slides. So that's something I've been having trouble with. But your class is actually gonna help me a lot. Not to do that, you know what I mean, and to be able to finish that. That's one part I really enjoy it. And at the end, you give the students the opportunity to say goodbye. You know what I mean, and you give them the opportunity to ask any questions that they could have any questions. And so that's one part I really liked about your class, and which is sometimes I have problems with not this one particularly, but with like other classes. So.
I know. And thank you very much. I know that timing is one of actually the challenges, right, in these sessions, because as you said, right, sometimes there are students that have some questions, and questions that actually are kind of long sometimes to answer.
Yeah.
So it takes time, right? It's time consuming. So, well, in that case, if you cannot complete all the slides, that's all right, that's fine. It happens to me too, eh? So it's not a big deal, actually. Luckily, I could finish all the slides.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I know, but like sometimes I feel a little bit, on the downside when like, damn, I missed one slide, and I know it's not a big deal, but like again, I like the fact how you were able to manage the time, so you wouldn't actually have to miss one. And thankfully, at least in the class, I didn't miss one, but sometimes it's like because of these questions that students make, I kind of like either miss one or rush up in one of them, so I'm able to finish all of them. But yeah, so in general, Miguel, your class was excellent. I have no questions about it. It was pretty good. You follow, everything you were required to follow. Timing, activation of pre-knowledge activities, using the Blackboard tools and everything. So yeah, I'm really happy I was paired with you, and I was able to observe a really good class.
Thank you very much. Same here, man. Really, congratulations, because you actually have this, as I told you before, right? This special thing that we need as teachers or instructors, right, to create a nice environment, to make students feel comfortable in class, to make them participate and produce, right, all the time, which is the point, right, of studying this language, right? So everything was good about your class, man. Congratulations. I was really happy to observe your class.
Thank you, Miguel. All right, so I think that's about it. I'm gonna end up recording it, and then I'll send you the link so we can just send our reports. It was really nice talking to you, Miguel.
Great, man. See you next time.
See you later. Bye-bye. Thank you.